How's it going everyone, and welcome to another loot video. In this loot video I'm going to be opening 1000 Magpie Implings. Now the reason why I chose to loot 1000 Magpie Implings is to not see if I can profit by looting them. It's definitely not going to happen because the average price for a Magpie Impling is about 15k, and the average reward that you get from Magpie Implings is about like 10k. So I'm definitely guaranteed not going to profit, but the main reason why I want to loot them is to simply see if it's actually worth it to do puro for an extended period amount of time on an Ironman for lower levels. So we're going to loot 1000 Implings and we'll see the amount of items they managed to get. So let's get started. Alrighty guys, I've just finished uploading 1000 Magpie Implings, and this is all the reward that you guys should expect to see in roughly about 1000 Magpie Implings. Now I actually expected to see a bit more seeds than this, but I guess this is not too bad. In about 100 hours of work, you guys can catch roughly about like 10 Magpie Implings per hour. If you guys use the corner hop methods, you guys might be able to get even a bit more if you force spawn, but you need a second person for that. So on average you should catch about 10 Magpie Implings, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. But you also catch a bunch of Ninja Implings and Dragon Implings as well if you guys have 83 Hunter. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all the alchable items and we're going to price check everything, and we'll see how much you guys should expect to make per hour at puro just catching Magpie Implings. So let's start off with that. Alright, so after calculating all the alchables, you guys will be able to make about 5.2 million profits from alching all of these items. And on average that's about like 52k per hour, which is a really small amount, but this is of course without the ninjas and the dragon implings. After calculating everything on the notepad, it averages out to be about 8.1 mil after you guys craft all the black dragon hides into bodies as well as smith the rune bars into rune swords. But that's at pretty high levels, and if we substitute that, it's going to be roughly about like 5.4 mil without these two main items over here. Now this is actually not too much because 5.4 mil is about like 54k on average per hour, which is a really small amount, but it's actually not too bad considering that this is only magpies. You guys can expect to get about a few dragon implings per hour, and that can average anywhere from about like 70k to about 300k in alks per hour, so that could boost up to maybe about like 200k and up per hour just from alking all the alkables. Now the remaining things that we have left at the bank are going to be the sinister keys over here, from which I can get a ton of herbs, at least 150 Raynar herbs, which is going to be really nice, about like 150 per potions, and a bunch of other herbs as well. Also we have 51 pineapple seeds and 49 snapdragon seeds, and that's going to be about 260k farming experience, which is an okay amount of farming experience. And the best part about this is these key parts over here. With these key parts, you guys can actually get yourself a bunch of dragon stones, in which you guys can turn them into glories, which is going to be a really nice amount of glories that you guys can use for rune crafting. So that's pretty much one of the best parts about hunting Magpie Implings, is to get yourself a ton of glories. So to summarize everything, this method is not really worth doing for long periods of time. I guess it could be pretty decent if you guys are a beginner and you guys don't have any other methods, because you guys could make on average about 200k per hour, and that's not the best thing that you can do for Ironman, but it is pretty decent for Ultimate Ironman because there's not that many methods for Ultimate Ironman to do. One of the only methods for Ultimate Ironman is to alch the keys that you guys can get at the Wilderness Skywars dungeon, and the best method is to alch rune swords, but for that you guys need really high mining as well as smithing. So on average, like I mentioned, this really isn't worth spending a lot of time on, but it's pretty good to do for some startup money.